Now, new tonight, a judge has set bond at $100,000 for a South Carolina sheriff and a county official, both accused of misconduct in office. Suspended Williamsburg County Sheriff Stephen Gardner and ex-county supervisor Tiffany Cooks were in court here in Columbia a couple hours ago.
The two were indicted earlier this week. We talked about that. Our News 19 reporter Cassidy Byer was in the courtroom today. Cassidy, what are the attorneys saying about this now?
Yeah, Erica, both defense attorneys were quick to agree to terms recommended by the state during court this morning. It took less than 20 minutes for the judge to hear and decide a bond amount for both Gardner and Cooks.
We would submit, Your Honor, that based on the facts as presented by the state, the fact that he has no criminal history and his substantial ties to the community and not being a flight risk, we would ask that you go along with the recommendation of the state for a PR bond.
We're not going to address the facts of this case at this time, but we would ask that you go along with the $100,000 PR bond.
State prosecutor Creighton Waters presented a brief summary to a Richland Circuit Court judge Friday morning, less than 24 hours after the state officially indicted Sheriff Stephen Gardner and former Williamsburg County Supervisor Tiffany Cooks.
Ultimately, as Your Honor is aware, there was the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, and that was money that was supposed to help smaller communities and governments during the COVID crisis to sort of survive and keep running.
In 2021, over $5.5 million in federal funds was given to Williamsburg County. According to Waters, after Cooks lost a political primary in June of 2022, some of those funds were rerouted before she left office at the end of the year.
The allegations here were that the sheriff and the supervisor hatched a scheme to get ARPA money to the sheriff. And so they approach a friend of the sheriff's who was doing landscaping for the county, and they say, words to the effect, and they each individually have this conversation with them. They say, you know, we need to be able to get the sheriff his overtime, but we can't do it. And so we're going to write checks to you, and then you're going to cash those and get those to the sheriff.
Waters said over the next 6 months, the contractor cashed 11 checks written by Cooks to include the contractor's hourly rate and equipment use, totaling to $37,000. However, once paying the landscaper the hours he worked, Waters says Gardner walked away with over $27,000.
When the contractor was cashing these checks and the sheriff making large cash deposits into his own account, sometimes within an hour or two of the contractor cashing fees.
Now, during the hearing, both defense attorneys shared their clients have been cooperative throughout their 2-year investigation with no prior criminal record, ultimately agreeing to the state's recommendation to grant both defendants a PR bond of $100,000, which means they don't pay the money, or they don't pay the money to be released, excuse me. They also must not have any contact with the sheriff's department or county employees. Reporting in studio, Cassidy Byer, WLTX. Ladies.